everything makes it into the headlines, but we bring you the full story. Join Uchenna Cyril Anyoke, a renowned media personality and former president of the Nigerian Publishers Association, as he unpacks the real issues behind the news, from politics to public policy, economy to human rights. Nothing is off limits. Expert guest, in-depth conversation, local and global perspective. New episode every week on Facebook and YouTube. Watch now on Freedom Square TV. Follow for updates and behind the scenes clips. Beyond the headlines, beyond the news.
A very beautiful good morning and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Headlines on Freedom Square TV. And of course, we are reaching you from our Enugu studios. And of course, Enugu State, the capital of Enugu State, our capital of Anambra State, our capital of Eastern Nigeria, where Emayopara held sway. The National Youth Service Corps, popularly known as NYSC, was established in 1973 after the Nigerian Civil War, with a central purpose of rebuilding national unity and creating stronger bonds among young Nigerians from different parts of the country. Its official objectives include national integration, patriotism, self-reliance, space development, and contribution to national development. Does the original idea of the NYSC still solve today's problems? A very important question. Or does Nigeria need to redesign the scheme for a new generation? The National Youth Service Corps continue in its present form? Should it be suspended, or should it be completely reformed? Very important questions. So this morning we'll be looking at the very important topic: scrap, suspend, or reform. Is the NYSC still relevant today? And to help us examine this issue and other ancillary matters, we have been joined in the studio by a distinguished guest. Of course, he is a policy and leadership analyst. He's an author, he's a scholar, he's actually a doctoral research fellow in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, pursuing a PhD in international
relations and diplomacy.
Relations and diplomacy.
Thank you.
He is S.N.C. Nwagu.
Thank you. Good morning.
How are you, sir?
We are good, to the glory of God.
Yes, it's our pleasure to welcome you beyond the headlines.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Before we ask whether NYSC should continue, we need to understand why it was created in the first place.
Well, I think, thank you very much. You really gave it the touch that you really needed. The aim and objective from that perspective, coming out from war, was to bring all Nigerians together, especially the youth who are going to be leaders of tomorrow, as we are told, to know that they are from the same country. You leave your Enugu home to Katangora, you know the people, meet the people, know their food, know their culture, know that they are the same human being like you, against the normal myth they have in the north that when you go to Igbo land, they will butcher you and eat you. So when many of them came here to do the service, they became integrated, they refused to go back, the Yorubas, the Hausas, and it continues like that. So the aim basically was to integrate Nigeria after the war.
That was an aim. And if I may ask actually the next question, which is of course is important, do you believe that the original philosophy behind the NYSC is still relevant today?
Oh, definitely no. Definitely no.
And why?
We have gone out of reintegration. Nigeria is at a crossroad now. What Nigeria needs now is to see how you channel our youths to be productive, to be self-reliant, to be out of believing in government will do everything for you. That's where the Nigeria is, and that's why it's no longer important.
Okay, even from your own analysis, and I want you to be honest about this answer. NYSC was conceived as a bridge, bringing people together and trying to forge a kind of unity. So is NYSC a vital bridge for unity or a giant waste of resources?
I'm completely giant waste of resources the way it is presently constituted and operated. You bring in one general from somewhere, no background in administration. It comes to preside over NYSC. Every year you make budgets of billions to do uniforms, and uniform that no same person will wear to the street. You compel people to wear them and all that. It's a complete waste of our resources. And that's why we're advocating for a change.
I'm sure you actually participated in the youth service.
Sure.
Where did you serve?
Katangora.
Katangora is the present.
That's Kende Hana, Sokoto, former Sokoto,
Okay.
split into two.
Okay, that's where you serve. Would you still go to Katangora now?
To do what? For fear of my life? Do I want to throw away my life after all my sufferings? To go and do what? In fact, anything that will take me outside Abuja must be something very serious, and it must be security well prepared for.
Okay, until recently, would you say that NYSC had achieved national integration until recently? Maybe because of the security issues.
Well, to the best of my knowledge and research, and this stuff stopped working when Nigeria stopped working. Because for me, Nigeria stopped working in 1983. 1983, that's when Nigeria stopped working.
How?
When the military came into the palace of leadership in Nigeria, it was obviously they destroyed the psyche of Nigerian people and Nigerian society. Every other thing we're doing after that time, we're just managing from trying one agenda to the other. Policies that never implemented, policies that never worked. So for me, Nigeria stopped working by December 1983 when the Buhari regime came in. Everything was by force, everything. In fact, for me, the military damaged the psyche of Nigeria. So I think that's when it stopped working. If you know, let me go further. It was after that time that parents don't allow their children to go to their primary assignments. Posting become a purchasing object. The children of the rich don't even participate. Then by 90s, it went worse, where the young people will now go to the camp, and after the camp, they will never report anywhere. And somebody collects the money and do the community service for them. So what did they learn? Nothing. I recall my interview, I went to a camp with you as a commissioner.
Yes.
And we know what we saw that money in the camp. And that's why we're asking ourselves, is this where Nigeria is heading to?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a point blank question. If you must choose right now, will you scrap it, freeze it, or overhaul it?
I strongly believe in overhauling, reformation, changing the acts, amending the laws. The instant laws, section 2, 3, 4, should be scrapped up and then re-engineered to face the 21st century Nigerian youths.
So what would be a very strong point for keeping the NYSC? The reformed NYSC. Why do you think it should be kept?
I believe in, like my people will say, if you go to Israel, they have such service. In America, they have such service. In Germany, yeah, it's not military service. What they do, we want to bring our youths together, prepare them for the future. And that's why I say, if we reform it, if we reform the service and train people purposefully, then you will find out that the money is put in something that will yield positive dividend for the country. So scrapping it is not part of it for me.
Okay. So scrapping it is not the issue.
It's not the issue with me.
It's about reforming it.
Yes. Making work. Make it positive. Make it so I think make it something that will be good for everybody in this country.
Yes.
Let it be a ground of training the youth for future.
Well, as you prepare your mind, because we must be talking about in what practical ways can it be reformed.
Yeah.
Because when you say just reform it, that's not enough. What will be, of course, what would be your advice to government? How will it be reformed?
Okay.
What necessary steps must be done?
First, we have to start with the laws.
Okay.
Amend the laws, like I said. The law establishing it, I think it's L20, was one of the military acts. So, reform it, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4 should be completely abrogated and infused with new laws that is in tandem with the desires and the aspiration of Nigerian states. Okay. One, I suggest that those we just go to the same camp instead of going to Nwagu, for example, in Enugu State. Let them go to the military. The basic military training is 6 months. All these people you see carry gun all about our police, 6 months training. Take the graduate there, train him after 6 months, he will pass out as a military officer. He will be more in discipline. He'll be training first aid. He'll be training handling tools and weapons. And then he learns the basic rudimental training of a military person. Then the next 6 months, you move him to a military base. That is where he will meet all tribe of Nigeria in the military base. For example, if a young man is posted, he chooses to go into the army or navy or air force, and he's sent to where the army trains people. When he comes out, he'll be posted in army base, where he will now learn that, come on, we have to be patriotic to this country. What is happening in A should be made to happen in B. Protect it. And then again, it will go to a long way in curbing the insecurity in this country. For example, in this studio, if we are 8 people, and 6 of us are graduates, anybody who is coming to attack here knows he's coming to attack, meet 6 soldiers. Well prepared. When you see the gun, you know the kind of arms he's having. Just like the policeman will stand on the road and use knockout, what do they call it? Tear gas gun and harass people and collect stock money from them. You look at it, you know it is for tear gas, there's no bullet there, so it cannot harm you. So when his threat comes, he's telling you, but keep that thing down, let's stop. But it's important, it's going to work for everybody. And they become reservists. Once you graduate, when you finish those training, you'll be given certificate. If you want to join the army, you join. You don't want to join, the government should give you money to start something. They should be able, those things they're supposed to pay you, they accumulate it and give it to you to become somebody. Then after service, you go to your village and become.
Okay, welcome to that. You are talking about military training.
Yes.
The new what's an executive order signed by Mr. President to reform the NYSC. I talked about changing the uniform, entrepreneurship, and skill acquisition. So where is the intersection between your military? Because either they should go to military training strictly, but also I talk about entrepreneurship. So where would be the intersection between entrepreneurship and military training?
Both of them intercrosses everywhere. If you are going to military training, they don't train from morning till night. They do other things. They do educational works. So the entrepreneurship will come in as a program.
But the military will give them discipline.
Discipline, train them how to handle arms, first aid in case of emergency. There's a lot.
But the military is doing that at the camps now.
The military, how many are there? It's everywhere. It's on every media that sometimes there was recruitment and a lot of, in fact, a section of the country refused to be recruited.
I'm talking about those who in the camps. Each time you go, every plateau is manned by a military guy.
But
so they can instill that discipline in the camps.
No, but if the law is changed and make it compulsory to give them such basic training, they don't even need to go to any NYSC camp. They go to where Zaria, where these people are being trained.
They can't, do you know the population? Do you know the population?
No matter the population, it can be splitted. It's just making things work. It's just making things work. If the population, let's assume there are 30,000 people in one batch, you can split into 4 batches.
Do you know how many universities will have that? Do you know how many graduates that come out from it?
I don't know the amount, the quantity, the volume, but I know they are enormous. But I said it can be splitted.
Do you know that there is some university that does have a backlog of people that cannot go because the camps can't take them?
That's what I'm saying. We have, this time around, we'll have 3 major places that can be trained, and they can split them into batches, and they will come out the same thing.
Three for the whole country.
We have a navy, we have army, we have the air force.
Do you know that in each batch in every state, you were not once or twice?
Or twice.
So when you go there, do you see the number per state? Let's assume that those coming to Nwagu is about 2,000 airborne 2,000.
Okay, alternatively,
Lagos is about 5,000.
Alternatively, you can split it those who want to go to military and those who want to get to the entrepreneurship course.
Then you're looking now optional.
Yeah, well, it is going to be if they can manage it. If the country cannot manage it, but I know they have the capacity to manage it and manage it well. Manage it and manage. You go to camp where there is about 30,000 people, and you see 2-3 soldier men say they are training. The only thing they train is march pass, to the best of my knowledge. To the best of my knowledge, they bring one sergeant or corporal to take them on parade, and that's all.
Okay,
because if it is proper training, martial art will be there for self-defense. Those things were inculcated, and when you see a graduate, you know that he's a graduate, and he'll be more useful to himself and to the society, because a trained mind have the potential and capacity to overcome anything you think the mind can achieve.
Okay, this is the bridge gap between university and labor market. You know, for a lot of people, they go for NYSC because the labor market is empty. Not very empty. So, so based on that, some people say, look, no matter all the weaknesses,
yes,
it should be retained the way it is. We are talking about reform. Now, should every core member leave NYSC with at least one employable digital or vocational skill? Because they just go there,
waste it,
play around,
waste it.
Some are sent to places they never go, like you said. So, assuming from now that it is not reformed, what do you suggest should be done now, waiting the time that, of course, to change the law and all that? Is that something that can happen in a day?
Yes. Right now, I'll tell you sincerely that I don't see anything good in what they are doing now, and therefore nothing productive will come out of it. Nothing productive. It's just a waste pipe. Settle one general and his clique, and they come there, give contracts, uniforms, and all that and all that. And my brother, if you see the uniform you have now and the one we saw, you won't put it on your body. You won't even like your child to put it on. But it looks like prison uniform. If prison uniform is not better. But so if you want to train them, that's the part of reform. It might not be total overhaul reform, but it's still part of reform. Giving them one entrepreneurial skill so that once they come out from there, they cannot become somebody from there. I'll give you an example. When my kid brother wanted to go for service, whom you know very well, I told him, oh boy, these 9 months, you can't go and waste it. Oh. You don't go and waste it. So what do? I said, okay, look for a professional course. I will pay. Enroll. Because if you look at it and say, a lot of people will go and pay money to be sent to Abuja. And when they are sent to Abuja, they will be sent to one Gwagwalada primary school. Tell me what he's going to learn in Gwagwalada primary school.
It learns to integrate with the natives.
Which native? Native coming to do anything?
That's what he's not taking.
She might not report there for one day. You go there to their friends in Abuja and hang out there, and after 9 months, he'll come and have a copper. I will parade his certificate on TV and social media, and that's all. So he used that 9 months, pursuing his professional course. By God's grace, by the time he finished, he become a Microsoft certifying professional.
Okay, yeah. No, most people use that opportunity.
But so if the nation wants to employ that as a part of the program, part of the curriculum of the service, it's good. Come, boy, girl, choose one profession, entrepreneurship, whatever. Get to that so that by the time you finish, if there are savings you have, you could use it to start a new life.
That's what Mr. President had just advocated when he said, look, it must not be the way it is. That, of course, they said the military uniform, that khaki or something, they're going to do something more native, more natural, but they are focused on entrepreneurship. But many people still argue that in a country where ethnic and religious tensions remain, the NYSC is still one of the few institutions that is deliberately bringing young Nigerians from different backgrounds together. No matter how fragile. What do you say to that?
My dear, it is something you don't really, a serious-minded person don't advocate for. Every day, go to every day, yeah, a copper kidnapped the other one killed the other one do that. And these are children of people that spend their time, their resources to bring up to university level. and they said they're going to service, they kidnapped them and killed them. Then one day, they asked for 20 million ransom. At the end, they paid the 20 ransom, the child was dead. Pollution waste, double jeopardy to the family. So what are they integrating? Nothing. I said that system stopped working when Nigerian system stopped working.
So what you are saying is that core members should not be deployed to high-risk states.
Definitely. It is, in fact, it is wickedness. It is preposterous for you to pick somebody and say, you know, he's not trained for anything. He doesn't know how to handle arms. He doesn't even know to give somebody first aid. And you send him to where you know every day some people come into the community, kill everybody there, name the remaining ones, and you say you're sending somebody there to go and integrate. Integrate with who? With goats and sheep?
Okay, perhaps maybe more effectively, core members should be allowed to serve within the geopolitical zone for now.
Yes, but it lacks that integration. Somebody from Southeast serving in Southeast. The aim is defeated because the aim, according to the instant law, was to integrate Nigerians for us to know that we are together, unify them. So now, if it is zonal, that means the aim is defeated.
So this is, so to speak, let me tell you why it may not really happen that way. A lot of people, if you go to Lagos, you find a lot of Igbo who are in Lagos, who are school in Lagos, born in Lagos. You find people in the north. So by the time you are done, you begin to say, okay, get back to their areas. You know, it's like a remedial issue pending the reform you are talking about.
Why do we go for remedial? Why do we go for first aid instead of treatment? What for? This is a nation. This is about law. This is about setting an institution that will outlive all of us for the betterment of the country.
Then I'm going back to the question I asked you, whether it should be scrapped, whether we freeze or overhaul or suspend.
Overhaul completely.
No, to overhaul. There must be temporary measures to overhaul. Unless, for what you are saying, that it should be suspended for 2 years, 3 years, to actually get the overhaul.
No.
But I say for now, okay, they are trying to deploy core members now. How would they deploy? When you say they should not be deployed to high risk zones, so now that they want to deploy, how would they deploy?
Well, everything must have a start.
Yes.
If starting it will make them break up for 2 years, let it be done. So be it. If that's going to help us achieve the aspiration and goal of young Nigerians to be a better Nigeria, to serve Nigeria, to be patriotic, so be it.
So and
then it will even save money for the country.
What will happen to those who have graduated, who worked for 2 years? Would we give them automatic discharge certificate? Because you know you can't get a job without the certificate. So if you suspend for a year or two, some people will not.
My dear brother, there's no prize that is too big for prosperity. There's no prize. There's no prize that is too big for making things right.
Okay.
There's no prize. Therefore, if it happens that it happened in anybody's generation, so be it. If during the outbreak of war, the people all die.
No.
The school stopped, market stopped, everything stopped. But after that, if you live a better life after that, the aim is achieved. The aim is achieved. So for me, there's no prize that is too big for the nation to be better. For everybody.
Some people have argued, rightly or wrongly, that the federal government should hand over all NYSC funding responsibilities to the states. But of course, the national budget is already struggling with a lot of things. And currently, the states are enjoying some humongous funding from the federal government. So why they are suggesting that the federal government can give the responsibility of managing core members sent to your state by state governments?
That is completely unacceptable.
Why?
If your state, like Enugu State, for example, the governor is involved in so many infrastructural development all at the center simultaneously, and therefore there's no money, and you give him the load of service, so many states will collapse. The last time I heard the Commissioner for Finance talking on national program, they were crying. They can't even. They managed to pay their bills. and they come to give them youth service.
I heard Mr. President asking people to ask their governors what they're doing with the money he's given. Let me give you an example.
Until that is done.
No, let me give you an example. I once, not long ago, met with a former governor, and he checked all his earning, all he got in 8 years. Gross. The net amount up to 800 billion. But that is one budget of a state now in Nigeria. Of course, the state is 1.something billion. And you may be surprised that an entire 8-year regime didn't get the current Enugu budget. And that's the way it is in the other states. That's why the president said, tell their some governors that they should stop doing elephant projects. Because at no point in time had states gotten more money than they're getting now.
I agree with you. And
they have too much money.
And I agree with the president. But you have to look at the value of that 800 billion and the value of 1.2 trillion.
Even at that.
we must balance the value of these funds. By 1999, Enugu State government know how much we got at 1999. By 2003, it was something else. So it continues like that. But what we have to look at, what we need to do is when we, like I said, when the country begin to function and function well, the value of, look at what's happening in Ghana today. Don't you see the value of cities? Because good administration implemented certain basic things. It was not important. And the city had been climbed. Although IMF is shouting, everybody shouting. Because they didn't believe it. They don't know it will happen in Africa. So if Nigeria gets it right, this money will have value it deserves and do the work they can do. But if you say you give somebody, somebody got 1.something billion from budget, beautiful, and you go to buy a bottle of water you used to buy for 50, 70 naira for 300 naira. You should know the difference. A bag of cement is about 13,000. Then when the state got about 8 billion in 8 years, bag of cement was 2,000 something, 3,000 something. So we must balance them up. The president can make whatever he wants to say, whatever he wants to say. He may probably to indict some of the governors that are not his very good friends. But the fact remains that some of these things are not practical. The reality on the ground is what you have to measure the economic yardsticks, the indices, not just GDP.
Okay.
That can be falsified through the president, the kind of stories we hear these days.
Okay, until that reform comes, how can Commonwealth be effectively used? Just like we all know, most of them are being used at cheap level. You talked about
making them of boys and tea girls in the offices.
Just about
a graduate.
Yes. So how can they be effectively used now? Is there any policy that could be formulated to say this guys with certain qualification must never go here? These people, like those who read education, should go and teach. What has a civil engineer got to do in the classroom? So, from your own knowledge and expertise, how would the posting from now, what would it look like? That's to recommend.
Well, my dear brother, the major issue is that in Nigeria, laws are not problem in Nigeria. It is the implementation and the people that will implement it. The kind of National Assembly we have today, I strongly believe that these laws can be amended if they so wish to amend them. Thirdly, I also believe that if you're doing anything and you find out that it's no more profitable, is it better for you to continue doing it or to stop it? Because for me, you post a doctor to Enugu. He have never been to Southeast. He came to Enugu. They sent him to my village in Ozarade, which unfortunately is no longer a village. I know there are some villages around. I can't hear Igbo, not to talk of the local dialect. How do he relate with his patients? And you're talking of integration. The young doctor will simply stay in Enugu, find his way. So I don't know. I don't really know where this country thinks they were going with all this shenanigan we play along. And like a great man said, the Nigerian system is like a political jaywalking and legal jigropotry.
Yeah, what is that?
What it means is simply the law is there, nobody is ready to implement the law. You cite the law everywhere, but how is it being implemented? How is it affecting the life of people? You use the law to play politics. It becomes political jaywalking.
Okay, a young Nigerian spent 1 year in NYSC. and he comes out, no job, no meaningful skill, no professional network, no entrepreneurial support. What do you make of the system?
Well, for me, as a candid person, let them calculate that money we use in sewing the uniform. Calculate the money allowed, they will give him or her as allowance for 1 year. Call the person, give him the money, let him go and start something. Probably he'll use that period to learn something and start something and be productive for himself. Because there's no job anywhere for him or her. There's no job anywhere. So calculate that and give the person in bulk. Federal government can, if what I see in social media are real, they give support on this, support on that. Let's know the people you are giving the support. It is numbered, it is tabulated, and then it will be accounted for. Because once you know it is 200 people and they are giving 2 million, you say 200 times, that can be proved. But you say you are going to give market people money. Who is market people? Nigeria. Nigeria, who is market people? So the country can afford to keep them, so make them their life better instead of waiting endlessly and wasting 1 year, because they say they don't spend, they wasted that 1 year. To the best of my knowledge, they just go and waste 1 year.
But some people make a good use of it.
Well, some people, I like that. Some people, if 1 in 1,000 make good of it, that some people.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this question. One of the conditions for employment in this country is the NYSC discharge certificate. Is this still a fair requirement?
That's what I'm saying now. If you are reforming, if you are trying to make things better, those things should be removed now. What is it for? You have a paperwork that has no meaning. Like one man, I enjoy his advertisement. He said, we are no more in the era of certificate. We're in the era of Sabi certificate. What did you Sabi? We're in that era. So that certificate requirement should be thrown to the trash can.
So the NYSC certificate as a requirement for securing a job, what do you say should happen to it?
Removed immediately from this studio. It should be removed because it has no value. If somebody has to bring you a paper for to give you employment and you employ the person and he's not qualified even with that certificate, what do you achieve in your office? What do you achieve? It's better you say you're a photographer. Within 1 year you go and learn photographing, buy cameras and all that. That money they will use you go and you start doing it, start helping yourself.
Why I ask this question is that there is this tendency, Kemi Adeosun had to leave because he said he didn't do NYSC.
Yes.
There are a lot of fine brains out there who studied abroad, who has not done the NYSC, and they say they can't secure a job in Nigeria. So the expertise are lost.
Well, that is the law. The law says you must do that. That's why I say you scrap the rubbish law. Because it has no value. It is detrimental to the progress of this country. The requirement is no longer, just for example now, in Nigeria they say for you to get into university you must have credit in English and mathematics. What do you need English for? Is it not to communicate? You make it compulsory, and agriculture is not compulsory. And we're all crying that the woman selling pepper there, the pepper is too expensive. So where is he getting it from? No, we must live in 21st century. This law we are talking about is 1973, an act of the military. That's why we are still operating in 2026. Even if it is a religious law, some of them are being amended by the hierarchies of the church. Not to talk of something everybody sees, everybody knows, that's obvious that it's not working. Oh, my brother, we need to tell ourselves the truth. We want this country to move.
Okay, we're talking about reform now. So, between being compulsory and being voluntary, which one would you subscribe to?
If it is properly reformed, mandatory. But if it is the way it is, I recommend if you voluntary if you want to.
But then why see the way it is should be voluntary?
Yes.
And if properly reforms,
it should be compulsory. Because the nation will benefit from spending that money in training them and making them better persons.
Okay, there are many big companies in Nigeria benefiting, doing contracts and doing all sorts of things. What would be their role in this NYSC? Could they set some funds to help young people?
That's why we're talking about changing the law, amending the law. if you amend the law and make it a realistic law of 21st century, those companies, their social responsibility can be channeled into national youth service. Before today, if you are heading out to our government house, you'll see big emblem of Zenith Bank. And I asked somebody one day, what did Zenith Bank did to Enugu State? That they will position their logo in front of almost in front of our government house. And when a man who knows the value of this came and removed them, you are advertising when we are not benefiting from it. Just like they are talking of xenophobic attack in South Africa, and a popular South African musician want to come to Nigeria and play and make money out of Nigerians. People revolted and they have to cancel that tour. That's the reality of 21st century. That's the reality of 21st century.
Okay, let's try and put this thing together in a bullet form.
Okay.
So, do you think the NYSC is still relevant?
The way it is, no. Reform, yes.
Should the NYSC remain compulsory?
Yes. If it is amended, if it is where it is, it should be. If you wish.
Okay. Should the service year be reduced from 1 year or remain 1 year?
If it is amended, they can even increase it above 1 year so that they will be properly groomed. Okay. They should be properly groomed. Because even, like I suggested, even after the military training and all that, you can still go into entrepreneurship. You can still go into any other craft. After, when you talk about military, there's no department that is not in the military. There's no department that is not in the military. The engineers, the medical, the medics, there's nothing you don't see there. When Nigeria was working, me and you know that this depot was mechanic workshop for the police and high-ranking civilians.
What should the NYSC focus on now? Is this national unity? Is it employment? Is it skills? Or is it community development? Or is it military service?
For me, military service will bring development, will bring security, will make you a better person. Will make you a better person. Because you are forced to use your brain to think out things. Emergencies. What is the value of this reaction? Where will it lead you to and all that? That's what we get in the military, because after the physical training, the combat and all that, the hierarchy, respect, the patriotism, these are key things that this country needs now.
Okay, you served in Cantagora. Have you or someone you know benefited meaningfully from the NYSC?
Yes.
In what ways?
The one person I knew a long time ago when Nigeria was working, after serving, was able to save enough money to build a house for himself because he doesn't have a house.
Okay, what is the biggest problem with NYSC today? If he has to summarize the problem of NYSC now, what is the biggest problem facing NYSC today?
The biggest problem is the law governing NYSC. Because if they appoint you today, which are not there, you cannot work against the law. Or you'll be ICPC and EFCC will run after you. So they must have to look at the laws first. These are 1973 laws, and we're in 2023. When the laws are, like I said, if the laws are amended to fit into 2026 model of requirements of Nigerians, then you find that those things are completely useless and out of place, outdated.
Okay, before I ask you the final question, let me ask you this question. How do we stop, in the meantime, influential, powerful parents from manipulating and buying favorable posts for their kids?
It's not possible. It's not possible. Don't even go there. Some don't even pay money, phone call. You don't know DG, his son, you want to post him where? It's done. It's a done deal. Because the system is non-functional. The institutions are too weak. It is the personalities that are controlling the institutions and the laws. Without sounding any models, you see what our law court has become, which we believe is the hope of the common man. So where do you begin to think it will stop? So if you bring S.N.C's daughter and say he wants to go and serve his Bruno, I will fold my hands and allow you to send that there.
Oh,
I'll do what others do.
Okay, I just want you to look at the camera, look at Nigerians, and in 1 minute or two, articulate your thoughts about the NYSC presently, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the reform. Just summarize all your thoughts about the NYSC, the way it's constituted, why it's not working, what should be done for it to work, and the future of NYSC.
Well, I think I'll start from the future.
Okay.
The future is bright. Nigeria, I'm one of the people who believe that good Nigeria is still possible. Better Nigeria is still possible. Everybody knows that this leadership, management, that's our problem here in Nigeria. We have all manner of human beings scattered all over the world. All you need to do, get a working law, get a strong institutions, channel them, and you get the best of results. Today, the last time in Israel, before this Iranian war, Israel, when they had issues, it was this volunteer, the reservists, those people that came like something like youth service, that went for that war. It is on record that when the Americans went to Iraq to deal with Iraq, it was all these reservists that we want to go. And if we have that in Nigeria, will it be wrong? So Nigeria is well. Then, for me, what will make NYSC better? It's just the laws. If you get the law and get a good man to head it, those that will implement the laws to the letters, without looking that this one is the son of that or that person is not, do it the way it should be. Like, I know there's a system, you know that too. If you put all the names of people who are going to serve, alphabetical order, it will choose them states without any manipulation. But once you begin to do manually, this and two will bring, that's my auntie's daughter. Then it will keep on being that way. And then you put the wrong pegs in the wrong holes. And then Nigeria will pay for it. Because this Nigerian resources that is being used for the training, for uniform, for even the allowances being paid. So Nigeria won't be able. So change the laws, get good people to handle it. We'll leave all this brigadier to go and do their job in the barracks, please. Get somebody. We have a lot of political science, we have a lot of development experts, we have a lot of economists, we have a lot of sociologists, psychologists that will head it and head it well. And make best use of the law to get the best use of our youths.
Okay, I think this is a point where we thank you, Sir S.N.C. Nwagu, for joining us on Beyond the Headlines. Because today's discussion has shown very clearly that the NYSC debate is not simply about whether the scheme is old. The bigger question is whether an institution created more than 5 decades ago can evolve with the country it was created to serve. The original mission remains powerful: unity, service, patriotism, community development. But the Nigeria of today also needs security, digital skills, entrepreneurship, employability, innovation, and accountability. The official NYSC mission speaks about national unity, leadership, self-reliance, and the youth participation in nation building. So perhaps the real choice is not simply NYSC or no NYSC. Perhaps it is, what kind of NYSC does Nigeria need for the future?
Sure.
Because scrapping an institution may be easy, but reforming an institution to serve a changed society may be the greater challenge, and perhaps the greater opportunity. I'm still Lieutenant Nwagu, and this has been Beyond the Headlines on Freedom Square TV. Until next time, let's continue to go beyond the headlines and ask the questions that truly matter. Thank you, for being part of this conversation.
My pleasure as always.